economic cloud over others who shun the informal sector. Satan is not the only one relishing at the prospect of having a functional stall at Sandika. The young men from the neighboring countries are also casting in on the opportunities that are derived from the market. Ibrahim Abalde, GRTS.
Reports reaching GRTS say the body of a woman identified as Aissatou Sanyang was found this morning in her apartment in Brusubi. Police confirmed the incident to GRTS, saying investigations have been mounted into what is suspected to be a murder case. We will bring you details of that story in our 10 o'clock news bulletin. The Women Advancement and Childcare, the Gambia recently signed a bilateral cooperation agreement with Turkish-based philanthropist organization Sendegel at Summer for improved rural livelihood initiatives. GRTS's Babakar Kamara witnessed activities unfolding during the event and reports on the cooperation agreement that is set to engage 37 beneficiary communities with sustainable livelihood improvement projects.
They stood firm in the rains, reaffirming a commitment undertaken by the Women Advancement and Childcare Association through bilateral cooperations between Banjul and Ankara.
Today is a great day in the history of the Gambia, in particular the Lower River region, as it marks the launching of the Women Advancement and Childcare and the Turkish Sendegel Corporation. The principal aim of establishing the project, among other things, is to enhance the socio-economic status of women and children through various forms of capacity upgrading, skills training, and entrepreneurship.
We started as a nursery school provider in Brikama Miswa, and we extend our hands to helping women and youths within the community that we started the project with. Thereafter, we felt the need to register this organization as a charitable organization so that we can venture into different fields and help communities to realize their dreams and development aspirations.
The Rural Community-Driven Initiative started in 2008, with erudite professionals driving their developmental ambition at the doorstep of 37 beneficiary villages, an initiative constantly supported by Turkish philanthropic organization Sendegel. The people that are coming to help us here today have gone through a vigorous process of aid coordination. Therefore, we are supposed to be accountable.
To start a project is very easy, so we started it. But to sustain it is not as easy. Now it is up to you, my friends, Gambian people, whether we will sustain it or not.
IKF would have benefited from this project with 100 goods, meant to strengthening our earning capacity through animal husbandry activities.
As cooperation agreements continue to be fostered through the recent signing of bilateral cooperation between WAC and Sendegel, it is hoped both women and children advancement shall be enhanced through livelihood initiative funded by Turkish corporations. Babakar Kamara, GRTS.
Spaniards have taken to the streets to vent their anger over government's austerity measures. Mali's prime minister has ruled out the possibility of negotiating with the rebels in the north and find out how a grenade attack killed a 4-year-old child in Kenya. We'll be back with these stories after this break.
The most affordable 3G ever.
Get your AfriCell Extreme 3G internet service for as low as $15 is only.
AfriCell 3G bundles starting from 50 megabytes up to 12 gigabytes.
12 gigabytes bundle for a tariff as low as 5 buttons per megabyte.
And all bundles are valid for 30 days.
AfriCell Extreme 3G service for as low as $15.
To subscribe, please dial 120 and choose from the available 3G bundles.
For more info, call 113.
AfriCell Extreme 3G service.
For as low as 5 buttons per megabyte, stay connected to AfriCell's 3G network.
AfriCell.
When we say Extreme 3G,
it is truly extreme.
Oh, sometimes.
Welcome back. The Prime Minister of Mali, Sheikh Modibo Diarra, has ruled out the possibility of negotiations with Islamist militants occupying the north, saying time has run out. In Kenya, a grenade attack on a Sunday school in the capital Nairobi has killed a child and has been blamed on the Al-Shabaab. We have more on this and other stories in this African News Roundup.
There has been another grenade attack against a church in a suburb of Nairobi, the capital of Kenya. The explosion took place in an area where services for children were being held. One child was killed and several others were injured and hospitalized. This type of attack that nobody claims is generally the work of Somali Shabab Islamic radicals. Kenyan police had to intervene during the morning to disperse demonstrators who were attacking local Somali people and their property in reprisals for the attack. Hundreds of Libyans have turned in their weapons at several collection points run by the army in Tripoli and Benghazi. In Tripoli, both light and heavy weapons and ammunition were turned in to the organizers of the campaign. The weapons turned in are only a fraction of everything taken during the mass pillaging of arsenals during the fighting that brought down Muammar Gaddafi last year. However, it is a step forward in Libya, where lack of security pushes inhabitants to use weapons to protect themselves. The Prime Minister of Mali has categorically rejected the idea of negotiating with the armed Islamic radicals occupying the north of the country. In an interview published Saturday in Le Monde in Paris, Sheikh Modibo Diarra said that the time for negotiations has passed. The Malian Prime Minister addressed the United Nations General Assembly this week in New York and asked the international community to organize an intervention force to do what he called a quick and clean job. He also asked France to send special forces to Mali.
Somali government troops backed by African Union soldiers have overrun the last major Al-Shabaab stronghold of Kismayo after storming the coastal settlement from all sides. The offensive comes as the new government seeks to expand its control across Somalia, a country that has not had a central authority for nearly 2 decades. Let's look at this report for more on that.
The headquarters of Shabab gunmen in Somalia's Kismayo port city is deserted after their withdrawal. In the courtyard, bits and pieces of furniture are strewn around, waiting to be looted. Since Friday, Kismayo has been secured by the Somali army and African Union troops.
Our troops have surrounded the town and blocked all entry points. The enemy has fled from the city and is reported to have gone to the Bouale and Jidib areas.
Elsewhere on the ground, African Union and Somali troops are held up by booby traps planted by the Shabab. At least 3 civilians and a traditional leader were killed by anonymous gunmen.
At this point, we are calling on the people of Kismayo to restrict their movement as the soldiers are being deployed. We are telling them to work with the African Union peacekeepers and Somali forces to maintain security in the city.
The loss of Kismayo is a blow to the Shabab since it was the main entry point for weapons. This latest military defeat against the Shabab could be a turning point against the Al-Qaeda-linked movement, even if the Shabab still control other towns and areas in Somalia. The Shabab are now turning their attention back to the Somali capital Mogadishu and inside Kenyan territory with a new series of attacks.
Tens of thousands of Spaniards have taken to the streets of the capital for the 5th day to protest against the stiff austerity measures undertaken by the government to raise almost 40 billion euros. The measures will see a steep rise in taxes and cuts on government spending. We have more in this report.
Protesters held a 3rd mass demonstration in 5 days near Parliament Saturday. The Spanish government has a new austerity plan to reduce budget spending by 65 billion euros. Spaniards do not believe that with higher taxes, lower salaries and at 25%, the largest unemployment rate in Europe, that austerity will help the country's economy. This situation cannot continue like this. Things get worse every day. There's no work and very few indemnities. Quite the opposite. Protesting appears to be the only way to make the government